Hi everybody, it's Sam again, and I'm on the floor of QuiltCon 25, and we are in the piecing section with Stephanie Ruyle, and she has graciously agreed to come and talk about her quilt, Metamorphosis. I understand that this is a result of a challenge.
It is.
Yes, do you want to talk to me about that challenge?
Sure. It was sort of a challenge that happened when I was processing three deaths, close friends and family, right in a row. And it just so happened that the Modern Quilt Guild introduced a pollinator challenge. And I didn't start this for it, but I finished it for it. So after the death of a close friend of mine, Christine Pergo, who was my long arm quilter best friend, I sort of needed a way to move through the grief. A lot of people do different things. I sort of go and try to figure things out. Not that you can figure out the death of a friend.
No.
But Christine was very fond of this sort of orange peel shape, and I wanted to honor that. And I don't know why a butterfly came to mind, except for it goes through a metamorphosis, moving from one state to another state, and then eventually back to dust. So I tried in my head to figure out how to piece this particular butterfly, but I wanted it to be modern. I wanted it to be improv. I didn't sketch it in advance. I had some, I won't say the four-letter word, moments doing it. And for me, that was fun. And it's not perfect. People aren't perfect. Our work isn't perfect. My work certainly is not. And I used things that she liked. She liked print fabrics, so they're in here subtly. She liked a little bit of sparkle and glitter, so there's some there too. And also to honor my father-in-law, who supported me as an artist and a quilter through the whole time I've known him. So that's how this quilt came to be.
That's great. I'm a big fan of orange, and I love orange when it's been juxtaposed with turquoise. Was this a color palette that you like working in, or?
So yes, I do, but also Christine and I had jokes about orange. I loved it. She wasn't so keen about it, but I think she would appreciate that since I was making this to honor her, that I was there too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, in the quilt. And then I know we talked about it, but the jacket I'm making is also very special. Christine had an award-winning quilt at QuiltCon a few years ago called Ohio Snowball. And what she did, since we were friends, is after she finished one of her quilts, all the offcuts she would give to me, and she would say, do something with them. So I made a quilt. And then after she died, I decided I didn't need a quilt, but I needed a hug. So I made this coat from that quilt. And so all of these beautifully pieced sections are improved back into a coat of mine, so I can take her with me wherever I go.
Yeah.
And that she can see the things that I'm seeing. The thing that is hard to see is there's a tiny little pinwheel on my shoulder. So for me, I can hear her in my ear. We often had very interesting conversations in front of quilts that we loved. And she's here. So
You said that this was improv, and
yeah.
I'm no good at that. I really respect it because I don't have one of those bones in my body. What are the challenging parts of improv when you're playing with curves?
So it curves in single pieces of fabric. So each of these quarters is done in a single background piece.
Okay.
And then I added some to the side to make it a little bit bigger. The challenge is that as you're making it, if you screw up, that whole section is done.
Okay.
So for me, it's trying to figure out how to make it work. I drew all of the circles by hand, all of the curves by hand. And I like that they're not perfect. These aren't quite the same. Their antennae aren't the same. I think when you study nature, there's beautiful symmetry in nature, but there's not perfection in it. There's always a missing little sparkle or a feather that's been lost. And that's sort of how I work. I strive for an end product, and I'm very happy if it looks like I made it. So
yeah, that's great. Thanks so much.
You're welcome.
For taking the time.
You're welcome.
To share your process and share your memories.
Thanks.
Big
for
feels.
doing that too. Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.